Frank is sitting at the bar of a diner, checking the time on his watch while glancing up at a clock on the wall. With a press of a button on his wristwatch, he turns around to look outside, but sees nothing unusual. Moments later, Frank steps onto a stage, ready to perform as a magician. He invites a young woman up from the audience and, with a knowing smile, tells her that her necklace will fall into her drink in a few seconds. To everyone's surprise, it happens just as Frank predicted. Meanwhile, Kelly and her partner Kavanaugh are observing the scene, questioning why they are spending time following a magician. After the performance, Frank heads to a casino. He explains that he doesn't make much money on Wednesdays, so he plays small stakes games against machines to keep things low-key and make sure he can return the next time. He shares a secret. Frank has the ability to see 2 minutes into the future, but he can only foresee his own path, not the general future. At the blackjack table, the casino security watches Frank, suspecting he may be pulling tricks. They radio for backup, but Frank knows what's coming and calmly gets up. He tells himself that because he looked into the future, it has now changed, making it unpredictable. As he walks out, Frank glimpses an attempted robbery in the future, seeing a man with a gun shooting 2 people. He swiftly intervenes, disarms the robber, and evades the casino security. However, once outside, the police are called. Frank manages to escape and avoid being caught. At the casino, Kelly reviews the footage of Frank's actions and realizes that Frank's ability to predict the future makes him a unique and dangerous target. She's been tracking him for months and is impressed by how he always manages to slip away. The police chief dismisses her concerns about Frank, urging her to focus on a stolen bomb, but Kelly is determined. She believes Frank could help her track it down. The chief gives her 5 days to bring him in. Later, Frank returns to his garage where an old man named Irv is waiting. The two share a game of pool, and Frank briefly mentions the diner and his ability to see into the future. Irv asks if Frank's watch is capable of turning back time, but Frank brushes it off, saying he didn't notice. Frank senses the police will arrive soon and prepares to face them. Irv advises him to run, but Frank is curious to see what the authorities want. When Kelly arrives alone, she asks Frank for his help to locate the stolen nuclear bomb. Frank explains that his abilities don't work like that, but Kelly insists he has no choice. Either he helps or he will be arrested. Frank, ever the strategist, decides to wait and see how things unfold. As the police approach, Frank makes his escape. The next day, he's back at the diner, where a woman named Liz enters. She sits down at a table, and shortly after, her ex-boyfriend shows up, harassing her. Frank peeks into the future and sees the best course of action. He steps in, disrupting the confrontation. In the process, he gets punched and introduces himself as Chris, his real name, claiming his car was stolen. Liz offers him a ride, and the two start a conversation about destiny. Liz admits that she's unsure if destiny exists, but she enjoys letting life surprise her. Chris agrees, sharing that he wishes life could be more of a mystery. Later at the diner, Kelly and Kavanaugh question 2 employees who reveal that Chris comes to the diner every day at the same time for a martini, but today he left with a woman. The agents then learn that other people are searching for Chris as well. These bad guys are seen receiving parts of a stolen bomb. They discuss capturing Chris to use his unique ability to foresee the future. Meanwhile, Liz and Chris are forced to stop on the side of the road due to a rock slide. They're told to drive to a nearby motel to wait until morning. At the FBI headquarters, Kelly and Kavanaugh track Chris's whereabouts. The chief orders all resources to be directed at capturing him, since they know he's the key to finding the bomb. The bad guys, aware of the police mobilizing, follow their lead, intending to use the authorities to locate Chris. At the motel, Liz and Chris share an intimate moment. As they lay together afterward, Liz begins to believe that maybe destiny is real after all. Kelly and Kavanaugh are still watching the motel and spot Liz leaving. Kelly approaches her, showing Liz footage of Chris's casino escape. She reveals that Chris can see into the future and tells Liz that Chris is a sociopath who uses people. Kelly asks for Liz's help in getting Chris to take a narcotic pill. She gives Liz the pill and explains that she needs to slip it into Chris's drink 2 minutes before taking him out of the room. Liz agrees to help. Back at the motel, Liz prepares breakfast and slips the pill into Chris's juice while he shaves. When Chris emerges and is about to drink it, Liz hesitates. She can't let him take it. Instead, she confronts him, asking if he really can see the future. Chris admits it, revealing the truth about his abilities. Chris tells Liz about the crazy incident at the casino, proving his powers are real by predicting what's coming on TV when he changes the channel. He admits he doesn't understand how it works, but he knows it does. Liz is curious and asks if he's been using his abilities to set her up. Cris says no. He explains that he saw her before he actually met her in person. That's why he's been waiting at the diner, hoping she'd show up. He shares that the police want his help, but he's not sure how he can help them. Liz points out that his abilities seem stronger when it comes to her, but Cris says the police don't know that. Cris comes up with a plan for him and Liz to escape, but things go wrong. He gets arrested because he couldn't let Kelly die, and to make it worse, Liz is kidnapped by terrorists. Kelly takes Cris to the FBI and forces him to watch the news. She wants him to push his abilities as hard as he can to figure out if a nuclear bomb will detonate. But instead, Cris sees Liz being kidnapped and placed on a rooftop with a vest full of explosives. Just as he watches, the explosives go off, killing Liz. He tells Kelly he can't help them like this and begs her to let him go. She orders him to be locked up, but Cris manages to escape. Cris runs straight to the parking lot rooftop where Liz is being held. Kelly catches up to him and asks why he came. Cris tells her they're going to kill Liz and they need to act fast. They come up with a plan. Cris will walk out so the sniper spots him and shoots him, making the terrorists think he's dead. The plan works, but Cris can't stop thinking about how Liz always dies no matter what. He pushes himself harder and looks further into the future, catching a glimpse of the white van bringing Liz to the rooftop. He sees the license plate number and tells Kelly. The police are able to track the van, and they head to the docks to get Liz before the terrorists can take her to the roof. Cris helps the police navigate the docks, taking out most of the terrorists. There are only 3 left, and they manage to get Liz onto a ship. Together, Cris and the police take down the remaining terrorists and save Liz. But Kelly reminds him they're not done. They still need to find the nuclear bomb. Cris admits he made a mistake and that the bomb is already going to explode. It detonates, killing everyone, including Cris and Liz. But then, Cris wakes up in the motel, holding Liz. He calls Kelly, telling her he'll help find the bomb, but Liz can't be involved. Kelly agrees. Cris wakes Liz up and says there's something he needs to do, something he can't put off anymore. She asks if he'll be back, and Cris says yes. As he waits for Kelly to pick him up, he remembers that when you look into the future, things always change. Kelly arrives and they drive off together, ready for whatever comes next.